Had so much fun during this game that I decided to continue on the challenge. Originally, I was going to take over Japan, but I decided to take over China and Japan just because of how fun I was having. This was the most fun I've ever had in a CK3 game. Well, that being said, let's get to it. Of course, I started as my boy Haesteinn, and I decided to move my country into Italy. All I really have to do is conquer swap. I just conquer the nations that I can and try my best to get to Asia as fast as possible. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did, was just expand through Africa. And honestly, this was a refresher, because I haven't played as Haesteinn in a while. I know my last video was a Haesteinn video, but that was a long time ago from when I was recording this. And Haesteinn is like my favorite character to play. I am a Haesteinn cliche, just like Koi Fish. And my plan was to do a Vanguard and expenditure each time, but I forgot how expensive that was. So I just kind of had to conquer counties and just have counties all over the place, which I need to get rid of, which became a big problem later on, but we'll get to that later. For now, though, I eventually made it to India. Yay! We're almost to Japan now, boys. Then we took over some of India. By the way, I kind of want to take over India as Haesteinn. I know it's been done a million times, but I've never really done it before. So if you want me to do an Indian adventure, even though it's been done, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you want to see that. As now, people were getting alliances, and people were declaring war on me, and I would just surrender most of the time, because they would declare war on, like, islands and provinces I had way back, and I really didn't care about it. Right now, I'm just trying to conquer as many counties, just to try to make it there. As now, I go into the Philippines, and I easily win by capturing their leader. Also, the Nords don't start off with siege equipment, which makes these wars a million times harder. I hate playing as a culture without good siege equipment. Siege equipment is super important in this game, and if you don't have it, then that just sucks, and you need to hybridize your culture to get it if you cannot research it. As then, we go out and expand even more, as finally we're about to land Japan. My plan was to take, and since the land up here was tribal, it really wasn't that good or worth taking over. We tried to raid, but there was this bug where if you go overseas, you couldn't raid cities, like it wouldn't count. Eventually, the bug did get fixed, so I have no idea what caused it or why it did that. But yeah, if you guys have experienced that bug before or know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments below, but I had no idea what was going on. As then, I went to a kingdom-level war against Japan. I tried to make a name for myself, and then I get assassinated. But I reload, because Hasteenn's almost dead, and I want to finish this war before he dies. Also, I lose all my overpowered men, so yeah. And people declared war on me, so yeah, this was before I reloaded. It was getting kind of irritating, and I didn't have a lot of special units, and I started to get destroyed, so I was like, screw this, and I just reloaded back to when Haesteinn was alive, and this time we survived the assassination attempt. Yay! And I know that's kind of cheating, but achievements are still active, so I don't care. As long as achievements are still active, I'm not cheating in my eyes. If you don't like that, watch some other channel where, like, I took over the world on Legendary or Iron Man or whatever the hell people call it. Just watch someone else play the game if you don't like how I play it. That's what I say in the comments. If you want to type shit, go ahead and type shit. I don't care. Alright, I play the game how I play the game. And then, after taking over a kingdom in Japan, we decided to go and loot and pillage until we had enough money to form our own kingdom. Haesteinn was now a king. Heck yeah. And it's time for a coronation. And then he died, and we took our son. Now that we're him, well, for the second time, I guess, technically, but this time we're not going to reload, things are getting more complicated, as Japan declared a war upon me for some land, and I had no way of winning, so I just had to seize their capital and take their leader, as I saved scum to do it. Yes, I know, I'm awful, but I'm not a great player. Honestly, I probably could have made it to Japan way sooner, but, I didn't. Because I guess I suck at the game. I don't know. Anyway, after that, I decided to revoke some people's titles so I can get some land. They didn't like that, of course, so I had to fight a few insurrections. Oh, booyah cha-cha, that's my title now. And then we got some invasions and rebellions and all sorts of things, and I had to fight to defeat them. Luckily, we can raid since we're unreformed. Well, we will have to reform the faith or convert to a Asian faith like Hinduism, Buddhism, Shintoism, and you get the point. I'm not going to name every Asian religion. Also, if I name one wrong, people will get offended, so I better stop while I'm ahead. As then I survived an assassination attempt, and my kingdom was looking pretty big. I then decided to get some land in China. Originally, my plan was to get to the original World War II borders of Japan and have like that big thing in the background as I smile as Haesteinn. I think that would be really cool, but I got way more ambitions later on, which you will see and you already know since I told you. So right now, I was just trying to declare war, try to get more powerful so I can eventually take the Empire's throne for myself. I even went to take over parts of Vietnam, which probably is the worst idea ever, considering historical events, let's just say. But those events haven't happened yet. So we just continued on conquering until we won. Bing bang, bada bada bing bang, big bang, bada bada bing bang. I don't know what the hell that was about. As then we got more factions against me, I decided to join the Liege, so I can destroy the Empire from the side. As I was going to make it disclaim its faction. Now, my plan was to destroy it because I didn't have claim to the throne, and I could work to get claim to the throne, but ain't nobody got time for that. Besides, I'm a big kingdom. If the Empire is destroyed, I could just easily conquer through, is what I thought, but he kept all the land, he just became a kingdom. But for some reason, he lost a lot of troops, so he stopped being an empire, became a kingdom, but kept all the land, and now he has half the number of troops. I don't really get it, but I went for a kingdom level war, and bing, bang, wada wada bing bang, lada lada bing bang, that is my land. As then, we got, well, a bit of a civil war going on, because apparently a bunch of new Europeans trying to take over Asian land. Why does that sound so familiar? It's almost like something like that has happened before. Oh well, who knows what I'm talking about? I'm probably just going crazy. But anyway, yeah, the Independence War rose up and I destroyed it. Just completely crushed it. And then I crushed more independence rebellions. Now, I can make things way more stable if my religion was, reformed. But Raiden just gives me so much money that I wasn't really worried about it at the moment. And back then, my plan was just to unite Japan, so I wasn't even going to really reform or convert. But as time went on, I had to make a choice. But until then, I decided to reform the culture so I can actually get siege equipment, which is very important. Because without siege equipment, I am just taking forever to take these towns, and it is pissing me off. So that's what I did. Also, my next leader was one-legged and hunchback and scarred. So this guy has been through some crap. You don't want to mess with him, though. He is a warrior. He's also a general. So imagine being beaten by a guy who's one-legged and has a hunchback. That's embarrassing. As then we fought many, many, many rebellions. After rebellions. After rebellions. After rebellions. Oh, this game is so much fun. Yeah. Later on, I did learn how to deal with rebellions better, but back then, I just didn't care. As then, we expanded even further, taking more land. Almost taking over all of what is modern-day Japan. And now we can do it. Form the Empire of Japan. Yeah! And then, not too long after, we actually kind of died. Poor man. He is probably one of my favorite rulers, having been scarred, hunchback, beaten, and against all odds becoming the first emperor of Japan that was of Nordic blood. Very impressive. Well, I guess I formed a new culture, so I don't know about that northern part, but you get the point. As in, to take over what was left, we decided to go through a few duchy wars. Soon, Japan will be fully under my control. And that's what happened. Bing, bang, bada, bada, bing, bang. Half the island is mine. Now we just need the other duchy. But then someone declared war upon us. So we were forced to defend against these rebels, like always. And we were able to defeat the rebels. After that, I decided to actually reform the faith because I didn't want to give up the Viking lifestyle. The belief in Odin and the belief of the gods are really cool to me. So I decided to conquer through Europe to get to the holy site so I can reform the faith and form a Viking kingdom and a Viking Japan, because that just sounds awesome. Imagine Vikings and samurai fighting side by side. Since Egypt was going through some problems, I took a county from them, and then I took a county from the person here, which ironically is the exact county we started with at the beginning of the game. We've come full circle. Kind of unique. Imagine like just living in Europe and all of a sudden you see a bunch of Vikings and Japanese warriors come down and take over your cities. Like, what the hell? It reminds me of kind of like the Sunset Invasion in CK3, but instead of Aztecs, it's Vikings from Japan, which I don't know if that's scary or not. Anyway, we decided to continue to expandwards, trying to take our holy sites, as now finally we get to take our holy site. Bing bang, bada wada bing bang, done. And then it was time for our third holy site. Once we have all three, we can finally reform the faith. And we have to fight the Empire of Scandinavia, which they were the old Asher True. It's time for old versus old, so we can create something new. As then, I added reincarnation because I thought that was fitting for our time in Japan, which there are Buddhists there. Other than that, I left pretty much things the same, except I made Kingslaying acceptable and added a few more changes and stuff like that. As then, bam! Asatruism was reformed! And now we could do holy wars and expand into Asia, because Asia is full of people who are not Asatru. So it's good to do these great holy wars, which we can now do since we're reformed. Sadly, though, I should have done fundamentalists and not righteous, because since we're just righteous, we can't revoke people of polytheistic religions because they're not hostile to us. And Asia is full of people who are polytheistic. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to spread the faith across Japan. But you live some and you lose some, I guess. As then, I attended a great coronation, and I continued to expand further, this time deciding to go into China, as now it was time for me to take over the homogeneity of China. That was my goal, to unite China and Japan into one giant homogeneity, and then I would end the video. My original plan was just to take over Japan, and I was going to end it once I reformed the faith, but I was just having so much damn fun. As then another ruler dies as I play as this guy. Even after the game ended, I kept playing for a while. My save kind of got corrupted with the new update though, sadly. But I was doing really good. This is the best game I've ever played. I was having so much fun with this DLC. I love this DLC. It's my favorite of CK3. However, I have terrible news. Scandinavia converted to Christianity, which means we are the last true nation. Also, the entire world speaks Chinese. I don't know why that happened. I swear I didn't do anything. I don't even speak Chinese in the game, so I don't know why everyone's court language is Chinese now. But I'm pretty sure that makes that achievement, get everyone to speak the same court language, way easier now. Because during these games, a lot of people convert to Chinese language in the court. Every time I play a new DLC. I don't know why, but if you want to get that achievement, it's good to play this. As then, we got a notification that the old ways of Asatruism are dead. That the new ways are the only ones alive. And it's up to us to keep Odin and all our gods' names and our minds and hearts as we expand for more territory. As in, we got war declared on us, we are forced to defend. Us and our allies stayed strong, defended against these rebels. As we all fled up to the mountains and forced them up there, we defended bravely. Rebels aren't that smart in this game, and they're always not that well trained, so even when you're really outnumbered, you can win. But they can get hard if you're just surrounded by lots and lots of rebellions, though, to tell you the truth. As then, we got a notification that someone declared war upon us, a Viking invader, for the land we had in England. So we had to go all the way to Europe to fight them back. For some reason, invasions wanted that land in England I held. They didn't want any other land, just the land I held, and I had to deal with that a lot during this game. But we got by the sword, so we can do multiple level, kingdom level holy wars. So I was going to take advantage of that. I was going to conquer kingdom after kingdom after kingdom until I could finally do it. I can finally form the great homogeneity that I always wanted to form. I actually managed to fulfill my oath. After taking and fulfilling my oath, it's time for me to do the unthinkable. Well, I guess not unthinkable, just keep expanding. As I looked at my empire, happy with what I've done, happy with my alliances, my land, I knew I needed more. Nothing would satisfy me until I took it all, until I became the homogeneity of China. I must unite these lands under the god of Odin and the pagan gods, and bring forth a new life. We were abandoned by Europe, kicked off of our homeland, forced to travel away. Actually, we kind of just traveled to conquer because we're all evil warmongers, but don't think about it like that. As now, we must expand even more, to form the perfect homogeneity, to make all of Europe and all of the world tremble at our new power. It wasn't easy. We had rebels, enemy nations, everyone against us, but we managed to pull through. Don't believe me? Check it out. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. This is a lot of fun. I know I could have done it in one lifetime and got the achievement, which is what I should have done. But I had no idea what I was doing, and I want to go for Japan first. I'm honestly not that great at CK3, but I do love it, and I do play it a lot. When I first played this game, I didn't even build up. I didn't even play tall. I just did the conquered thing, and my empires would always collapse because I couldn't play tall, and I couldn't keep up with the economy. Eventually, I just started cheating and trying to get a new culture every time to try to keep my stuff research, which works for a while, but you just gotta build up in this game. And then once I started building up, I did a lot better. I've done a lot of trial and error, and I think I've learned a lot slower than a lot of other players, but I didn't give up on the game, and I kept going. Even though I wasn't that good at it, and I can still improve a lot, I think I've gotten a lot better, and I managed to achieve a lot of things in this game. At first, I would only play powerful empires, scared to fail, and eventually I started to play the pagan characters, and then I never played a Christian character again. Always loving pagans, and always loving their hard start dates. Playing as a tribal, trying to reform the faith, and trying to form an empire was always my goal. It became a lot of fun for me, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I wanted to share my love for CK3. That's why I'm doing these videos now, to show you how much I love the game, and to show you how fun they are. And if you're not a CK3 player, I hope watching this will get you into the game. And if you are, then thank you. And by the way, there's probably a lot of things I did wrong or I could have done better. And a lot of you will let me know down in the comments below, which I probably should have gone for China first, but that wasn't the plan at the beginning of the game. At this point, I was just having so much fun. I just didn't want it to end. So yeah. Also, I don't really like the whole polytheistic, monotheistic system in the game. I think it's cool, but I think they should add a non-theistic one for like Buddhism and religions without gods. I know there's not a lot like that, but there are a few, and I feel like that would add like its own little credibility and its own cool little thing. It's not like a big gripe at the game. There were definitely some problems with this DLC, but overall, it was a great DLC. I remember my favorite CK3 YouTuber was like, "Don't get the DLC, it sucks." And it was the same day I bought the DLC. And I was like, man, what the hell? Are you serious right now? But it didn't really suck. To be fair, though, I haven't really played as an Asian character. I just took it over and, and formed a new culture. So maybe I should play as one. Maybe I'll see what he was complaining about. But yeah, so I think eventually I'll do a video where I play as China. I'll start out as like a noble or like maybe an emperor under the Hamajidi, so I can just take it over the throne really quick. I want it to be easy, but not too easy. So starting as a king or an emperor under the Hamajidi would be cool. Also, Hamajidi is the only thing where you can be an emperor and still be under someone. So I feel like I want to experience that. Also, I had to give up a war, sadly, because, well, the stupid horses were too fast. I hate those horse warlords. They suck. They piss me off. Those stupid horses. You can never catch them. But yeah, I will admit I did lose one kingdom level war there. But it was for a land that I didn't even need for the homogeny, and I was just trying to do when the challenge was different, so I didn't really care at this point. At this point, literally, it was just me doing kingdom level war after kingdom level war. There was literally no more point to even, like, try it. At this point, I was just so strong, so powerful that no one could stand up to me, and I finally did it. I formed the homogeny of China, but I decided to change the name because China doesn't really sound Viking-like. I decided to name it after my favorite anime, or at least it's in my top 5. I don't know if it's my favorite of all time, but it's definitely there. Vinland.